Top 10 mind-bending puzzles that experts can't solve. Think you're a genius? Well, even the brightest minds alive in the world have been broken by these puzzles. From impossible riddles that twist logic to ancient codes no one can decipher, today we're counting down the top 10 mind-bending puzzles that even experts can't crack. Some of these are mathematical nightmares, others are pure logic traps, and a few are mysterious puzzles from history itself. Each one will test the very limits of human intelligence. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for number 1. It's so baffling, it's left the world's top mathematicians scratching their heads for decades. Number 10. The Hardest Sudoku. Number grids that break supercomputers. A children's number game turned into a nightmare so tough only supercomputers can solve. Most of us have tried the classic 9x9 grid, filling in numbers from 1 to 9 without repeating them in rows, columns, or boxes. But puzzle makers have taken this brain teaser to an entirely new level with extreme variations that even seasoned experts struggle to solve. Take the infamous Killer Sudoku or the mind-twisting Samurai Sudoku, where multiple overlapping grids create a web of numbers that demand intense concentration. Some variants even remove the clues altogether, giving players just the bare minimum hints, sometimes fewer than 17 numbers on the board. That's the absolute minimum needed for a solvable Sudoku, and even then, the path to the solution feels like navigating a maze in the dark. What makes these versions so hard is that they require not just logic, but advanced techniques like X-Wing, Swordfish, or even computer-aided strategies. In fact, some of the hardest Sudoku puzzles are so complex that only algorithms, not humans, have managed to solve them. So, next time you think Sudoku is just a casual time killer, remember, some versions are designed to break even the sharpest minds. 9. Magic squares, ancient grids that hide impossible secrets. It looks like a child's number game, but some magic squares are so impossibly complex, they've baffled mathematicians for centuries. A magic square is a grid of numbers, usually arranged in a square, where the sum of each row, column, and diagonal is exactly the same. At first glance, they may seem simple, but the challenge grows exponentially as the size of the square increases or when additional constraints are added. Even mathematicians and puzzle experts can struggle with complex magic squares. For instance, creating a 6x6 or 7x7 magic square with certain rules, such as using only consecutive numbers or adding color or pattern constraints, can become incredibly tricky. Some configurations require careful planning, trial and error, and advanced strategies, while others are so intricate that they can take hours, or even days, to solve. Visual examples often illustrate the elegance of magic squares. Numbers aligned perfectly in seemingly impossible harmony, creating not just a numeric puzzle, but an aesthetic work of art. Some magic squares are even considered pan-magic, meaning every possible diagonal, even those wrapping around the edges, also sums correctly, a feat that is extremely difficult to achieve. Magic squares combine logic, patience, and creativity. They prove that hidden inside simple grids are patterns so mysterious they blur the line between art, math, and pure magic. 8. Einstein's Riddle, the Zebra Puzzle. Only 2% can solve. Coming in at number 8 is a puzzle so famous and so difficult that it's often credited to Albert Einstein himself. It's called Einstein's Riddle, or more commonly, the Zebra Puzzle. Legend has it that Einstein claimed only 2% of the world's population could solve it, though that part might just be a myth. The puzzle goes like this. You're given a row of 5 houses, each painted a different color. Inside each house lives a person of a different nationality. They all drink different beverages, smoke different brands of cigars, and keep different pets. You're handed a list of 15 cryptic clues like the Norwegian lives in the first house, or the person who smokes blends lives next to the one who keeps cats. Your task? To figure out who owns the zebra and who drinks water. Sounds easy, right? Not so fast. To crack it, you need extreme logical reasoning, focus, and patience. Every clue narrows the possibilities, but only if you track them carefully like a detective working a massive case file. Einstein's riddle isn't about tricks or illusions, it's pure logic, and that's what makes it such a legendary brain bender. 7. The Monty Hall Paradox, when probability defies logic. This puzzle broke the internet when even professors argued about it. At number 7, we have one of the most mind-bending probability puzzles ever, the Monty Hall Paradox. Inspired by a TV game show, it goes like this. You're a contestant faced with 3 doors. Behind one door is a brand new car, and behind the other 2 are goats. You pick a door, let's say door number 1. Before revealing what's behind it, the host, who knows where the car is, opens one of the other 2 doors, always showing you a goat. Now, you're given a choice. Stick with your original door or switch to the other unopened one. Most people's gut reaction is that it doesn't matter. It feels like a 50-50 chance. But here's the twist. Probability says you should always switch. Sticking with your first choice gives you only a 1 in 3 chance of winning, while switching boosts your odds to 2 in 3. Even experts struggle with this because our intuition about chance often betrays us. The Monty Hall paradox perfectly illustrates how human logic can clash with cold mathematics, leaving us second-guessing what should be a straightforward decision. 6. The Riemann Hypothesis, the 160-year-old math mystery. A 160-year-old puzzle that could break modern cryptography if solved. Among the greatest unsolved problems in mathematics, few are as famous or as mysterious as the Riemann Hypothesis. At its core, this puzzle deals with prime numbers, the atoms of mathematics. Primes like 2, 3, 5, 7, and so on are the building blocks of all numbers, but their distribution is strangely irregular. Mathematicians have long sought to find a hidden pattern in the way primes are scattered across the number line. In 1859, German mathematician Bernhard Riemann proposed a bold idea that the secret to understanding prime numbers lies in something called the Riemann zeta function, a complex mathematical equation. His hypothesis states that all the non-trivial zeros of this function fall on a specific line in the complex plane. If this turns out to be true, it would provide profound insights into the distribution of prime numbers. Why does this matter? Because prime numbers are not only essential to number theory, but also to modern life, especially in cryptography, which secures everything from online banking to national security. Cracking the Riemann hypothesis could revolutionize mathematics, reshape encryption, and change how we understand the very foundation of numbers. Until it's solved, the keys to prime numbers, and maybe our digital world, remain locked. 5. The Tower of Hanoi, the child's toy that breaks geniuses. At first glance, it looks like child's play. 3 pegs and a few discs, but add more discs and the Tower of Hanoi becomes a nightmare puzzle that could take you longer than a human lifetime to solve. The puzzle consists of 3 pegs and a set of discs of different sizes stacked on one peg, largest at the bottom, smallest on top. The objective is to move the entire stack to another peg, following a single rule. Never place a larger disc on top of a smaller one. Only one disc can be moved at a time, and each move must respect this restriction. While moving 3 or 4 discs might seem manageable, the difficulty grows exponentially as more discs are introduced. With each additional disc, the number of required moves nearly doubles. For instance, solving the puzzle with 10 discs requires 1,023 moves, a task that becomes practically impossible to complete manually with 20 or more discs. This puzzle isn't just a brain teaser, it plays a significant role in computer science. It is a perfect example of recursive thinking, where solving a large problem involves breaking it down into smaller, similar subproblems. Many algorithms, teaching methods, and even programming exercises use the Tower of Hanoi to illustrate recursion, efficiency, and problem-solving strategies. The Tower of Hanoi proves that the simplest rules can create puzzles so complex they blur the line between human patience and computer power. Number 4. The Impossible Jigsaws, puzzles designed to drive you crazy. Think a jigsaw as child's play? Some puzzles are designed to break your brain, and a few can never actually be solved, earning the nickname Impossible Puzzles. Unlike ordinary puzzles, these are intentionally crafted with subtle tricks, missing pieces, repetitive patterns, or sections that are nearly identical, making it nearly impossible to know if a piece truly belongs. Imagine a 1,000-piece puzzle where hundreds of pieces are shades of the same gray, or a sky section where clouds look almost identical. Even the most experienced puzzlers can spend hours trying to place pieces that may never fit. Some puzzles take this to an extreme, including pieces that are duplicates, flipped incorrectly, or even deliberately omitted, meaning the puzzle can never be completed perfectly. Real-world examples exist. Some manufacturers have created unsolvable puzzles as novelty challenges, like black-on-black or all-white puzzles. Others feature repeating patterns, such as endless ocean waves or intricate geometric designs where even a single misplaced piece can halt progress. These puzzles aren't just about frustration, they're exercises in patience, observation, and problem-solving. They force players to rethink strategy, notice subtle differences, and embrace uncertainty. These jigsaws aren't just puzzles, they're traps, proving that sometimes the challenge isn't about solving, it's about surviving the frustration. 3. The Impossible Puzzle Box. Secrets locked inside. Puzzle boxes have fascinated people for centuries. Beautiful wooden or mechanical creations that can only be opened through hidden tricks, secret levers, or precise sequences of moves. But among them, some designs are so baffling they've earned the title of Impossible Puzzle Boxes. These are boxes that seem to have no visible seams, no openings, and no logical way to unlock them. Yet somehow, they can still be solved. One classic example is the Japanese Himitsubako, or secret box, which requires dozens of carefully executed sliding moves before it finally reveals its hidden compartment. But modern puzzle makers have taken things to a new level. Some puzzle boxes are engineered with magnets, deceptive weight shifts, or even mechanisms that only work if you tilt or tap the box in just the right way. To the untrained eye, it looks like a solid sealed object, completely impossible to open. In fact, some designs are still secrets, boxes no one outside the maker has ever opened. The mystery lies in the craftsmanship. Solving one requires not brute force, but patience, logic, and a willingness to experiment. For many, just holding such a puzzle feels like confronting a riddle in physical form. And for the unsolved or still secret designs, the puzzle box remains an object of wonder, a reminder that sometimes the simplest looking objects hide the deepest mysteries. Number 2, the hardest logic puzzle ever. The puzzle that even geniuses fear. When it comes to riddles of pure logic, few can rival what's often called the hardest logic puzzle ever. It was introduced by the American logician Raymond Smullyan and later refined by philosopher George Boulos, and it continues to stump even seasoned thinkers. At first, it sounds straightforward. You're faced with 3 gods, sometimes called true, false, and random. One always tells the truth, one always lies, and one answers randomly. Your task? Figure out which god is which by asking only 3 yes or no questions. The twist is where the real challenge begins. The gods don't answer in English, they respond in their own unknown language, using the words da and ja, which mean yes and no, but you don't know which is which. That means every question has to be crafted with layers of logic, accounting not only for truth and lies, but also for randomness and an undeciphered language. Even professional philosophers and mathematicians admit this puzzle is brutally difficult, requiring an almost dizzying chain of reasoning. It isn't just a test of intelligence, it's a test of precision, creativity, and logical endurance. The hardest logic puzzle ever shows how even simple yes or no questions can hide near impossible complexity. Number 1, the Voynich Manuscript, the world's most mysterious book. The Voynich Manuscript is often called the most mysterious book in the world. Discovered in 1912 by rare book dealer Wilfrid Voynich, this manuscript dates back to the early 15th century. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary medieval text, but once you open its pages, you step into a world of baffling secrets. The manuscript is filled with strange, looping handwriting written in an unknown language or code. Alongside the text are hundreds of bizarre illustrations, plants that don't exist, naked figures bathing in odd contraptions, and astronomical diagrams that defy explanation. For over a century, cryptographers, historians, and even code breakers from World War II have tried to crack it, but none have succeeded. The language doesn't match any known system, and some experts even suggest it might be a sophisticated hoax. Yet statistical analysis of the writing shows patterns too complex to be random, hinting at a real hidden meaning. So what is the Voynich Manuscript? A forgotten medical guide, an alchemical code, or the work of an imaginative genius? Its allure lies not in the answers, but in the fact that, to this day, it stubbornly resists all attempts at understanding. From impossible riddles to ancient codes, these puzzles remind us that no matter how advanced we become, there are still mysteries that can twist, bend, and break the limits of human understanding. The brain is powerful, but some challenges are simply mind-bending. So, which of these puzzles would you dare to tackle first? Or do you know a brain teaser that could rival these unsolved mysteries? Drop it in the comments. We're always up for a challenge. If your brain feels scrambled after this countdown, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell because we've got more mind-blowing mysteries and lists coming your way every single week.